Happy Friday, Believe Nation. Friday is my CEO day. So on CEO day, I work on the bigger picture projects to try to build my business forward. So the morning so far I've spent analyzing my social media strategies, looking at different content plans, coming up with some new ideas, some creative things to put into the mix that I'm excited to play with. And then this afternoon, I'm spending most of the day helping some of the people in my network. Some of the people who, if they remember who I am, makes a big impact on the growth of my company. So that's usually what my Friday looks like. And this is my break. This is my break in between to split up my day and chat with you guys. And I got a special guest here and have a conversation. See how I can add value. Waiting, connecting. And there he is.
There he is.
Mr. Evan Tinsman in the house. It's the Evan and Evan show. It's happening. Welcome aboard, man.
How are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing good. It's not snowing. It's not raining. Got some sun in my face. It's a good day.
I got a lot of sun. Actually, for Toronto, usually now it's, well, I guess you got the same weather as we do. Usually
Right.
Cold right now.
Yeah. I have this giant window literally like 3 feet away. It's like 10 feet long. And people will go by my office. There's a 5-way intersection right here. And people will just wave at me all day long. And they're like, why don't you cover your window? I'm like, we get sun like 20 days out of the year. I'm not going to block it off. My office is actually in the back, but I sit out here just to get the sunlight. So
I love it, dude.
Yeah.
So Evan, he's been part of Movement Makers for a year.
As the first.
He was the first one in just over a year ago, back when it was barely a program, just figuring out what we were doing. Mm-hmm. And now it's been over a year, so I thought, you know what, bring him on. Anniversary special.
Yeah.
So what do you got? What's on your mind? How can I help?
It's I'll tell you what, it's done a lot. The last couple of months I've been a little in and out, just a lot going on business wise. But it seems like the last few months things have really started to take on a life of its own in a direction that I didn't really think would happen. And in the beginning, I was really trying to push it where I wanted it to, business, entrepreneur, sales, because it's what I've always done. And we've talked in the past how I would always just kind of touch a little bit on the addiction piece, the depression, the anxiety. And it's really the last couple of months that I've really started to embrace it. And it's crazy that I'm getting so much response to it. I'm not really sure what to do with it. There's been a lot of one-on-one, a lot of interactions. One that we talked about, which I won't say because I don't know who watches, but there are opportunities, but I can only do so much one-on-one. And I know that's, you always say, use that as a starting point. Mm-hmm. I actually think I have to take the next step with that and figure out how do I do that online, which direction to go. I was looking at things like Kajabi, different things. Is it course? Is it funnels? But I really think that's where I have to go. And I'm not sure how to approach that or what the right way to do that would be to start to develop it. Because I have the content. I know I have to create more to post, but the messages, the agenda, all of that is there. I need a delivery system and a methodology on how to do it, because I can't do any more individual stuff that I'm talking to people with, and the individual stuff I'm having, I can't post it. It's pretty deep, pretty personal for people.
Well, you can't, some people are happy to come on and share their deep personal.
Most are not to this point.
Yeah. Well, not the people reaching out to you, but that's fine. That becomes the business opportunity. Right. I think the piece that's missing in a typical course that you love and you're great at is the support. The support, right now, the one-on-one is connecting to you, and you're giving them the tactics and the strategies and what to do. But it's also just the belief and the support, and that it's possible, and that mm-hmm. somebody actually is telling them, "Hey, you can do this. I did this. Do this too."
Right.
It's like that's more than half of the equation beyond the whatever 8 steps or tactics or whatever. Like the tactics is still like what to do next, but without the hope that life can change,
right?
None of the strategies matter. And I think that's where you really excel. And so I think with a course that becomes a challenge, because you could lay out all of your content, but they're not going to go through it because they don't have the hope or belief or support system. So it's how do you take it from Evan one-on-one helping people, and you can still do that, just you charge more. You just keep mm-hmm. increasing your prices for it. But then how do you provide the support at a group level for people to be a part of it, whether
Right.
it's kind of like a movement makers version or something else, or even looking at the AA model of, hey, part of it is, yes, you're going to learn stuff, but it's the feeling that you're not alone in this.
Right. Right. So, but I guess as far as like to market that,
Yeah.
what do you because I want to get outside of this local and the individuals, and which is good, and I will always do that because I just feel that that's part of why I was spared, is to help others. But to scale that is where I'm kind of in that lull, because I know you'll say post, and I have a whole list of how I want to do the content the right way, just strategically. um, but it's what I'm going to do with it.
Yeah.
Where my what's the business plan is what I'm trying to figure out. And I'm not saying business plan that, oh, I need to start making money right now, but laying the infrastructure for something to build a scale of quality so that that can happen.
Okay, so what's to get somebody out of an addiction, to take the first step, what do they need? Do they need a challenge? Do they need a goal? Do they need to follow 3 steps every day? Like, there's a difference between just getting that going versus maintaining the habit, right?
Self-awareness is number one. It's
Okay.
for the record, I didn't do like 12 step. I didn't do AA. I kind of did more one-on-one
Hey,
stuff like that. But
well, but this is whatever, like, AA didn't fit for
right,
you.
right,
It doesn't for a lot of people. It's like, it's a
right.
great program. If it works for you, great. But if it doesn't, hey, here's Evan who's got his own version.
Here's what it boils down to: the self-awareness. We all know what we were doing and how we were doing it. Very few people take the time to figure out why we were doing it. What's the demon? What's the spider? What's the underlying cause? It's that dig deep.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why so many people relapse when they do like their 20, 28, 30-day detox programs. Like they're chemically detoxing their body, but they're not dealing with the triggers that makes you go back to it. So great, the chemicals out of your system, but the emotional piece is still there, whatever your demons, your baggage, things like that. So if you don't start to address that, then you're never going to be able to stay sober and move on and rebuild your life. But very few people actually talk about that, because it's always, you have a problem, you need help, you need this, you need that. But nobody ever takes the time to figure out why we do it. And
Okay,
that takes some deep work.
we'll come back to it. So self-awareness, and then what do I do next?
Acceptance. Once you become aware of what's going on, well, now you have to reconcile it, because it's like, sometimes seeing isn't believing, or you choose not to. So when you're aware of something, that's one thing, but now you have to accept that as your reality, and figure out, like, okay, this is me, this is my problem. So people always say the first step is admitting you have a problem. No, the first step is actually accepting the fact that you do have a problem, and you have to embrace it. Then you can admit you have a problem.
Okay. And then what's after acceptance?
After acceptance, you have to figure out, I just say, in an ideal world, what do you want? Like, what do you want your life to be? How do you want it to look in a perfect world? And then I say, you have to then kind of reverse engineer it. So once you figure out what you want, where you want to end up, what's the end product, then you have to identify what are the steps to get there. And then most importantly, you have to have an honest conversation with yourself of, okay, here's where I'm at, here's where I want to go. I realize I have to do all these steps in between, but are you willing to do them day in and day out on a consistent basis, especially on the days you don't feel like doing it? So it's more of a process than just feel good or theory. And now those steps in between are going to be different. Like mine, and that's where I could break down each segment. Okay, so if we're talking about mental, okay, there's the meditations that I've tried, the books that I've read, the journaling that I do. There's the physical. Okay, what were the workout routines? What's my rest? Diet, I have a nutritionist. What are the foods? And there's all those things that kind of go into that process. And that's where I think people need the guidance on, well, okay, I get it, mind, body, spirit, easy to say. How do I address my mind, my body, and my spirit at the same time while dealing with the anxiety and the stress and overcoming the chemical and all of that? So there's a lot of little pieces in there.
So if somebody gets sober, or they're on this path to getting sober, like, I'm going to start and do it, how many days do they have to do it before it starts to feel like it's happening?
I think that's an individual thing.
But
I think I don't know that there is an answer to that. I think that depends on when somebody finally gets to that point that they realize they can do it.
right. That's what I'm trying to like. Oh my God, it's actually happening.
Um, it was a few weeks for me to truly buy into it, but I got to that point of desperation where I was willing to do and try anything.
Yeah.
A lot of people may not have gotten as bad as I did, and they can come at it from a more rational or logical point. I was 100% emotional.
Okay. So here's my idea for you with the business model. You have a whole bunch of tools at the front end. You're going like this. A whole bunch of tools that are free at the front end, which is like the getting ready to go, which is the self-awareness, which is part of acceptance, which is like, what do you want? There could be tools that people walk through, your assessments that are free that can be put online,
Right.
at instant.com or whatever you're going to brand it, that everybody kind of has to go through this. Like self-awareness is number one. Great. What are the 8 questions that I have to ask myself to figure out myself? Like it's the getting ready to get ready.
Okay.
Before I can actually, I mean, most people have probably already started and stopped like however many times, right? So it's getting ready to get ready. Before you can actually go off, like you're saying, hey, hold up. Don't try another one of these programs where it's not working. Before we can even start to get sober, we need to have self-awareness first. Just like we're getting ready to get ready. Whatever you would put into those categories, self-awareness, acceptance, what do you want, if that's part of the things that they have to go through. But something simple, powerful to bring them in. And I like different to say, hey, before you worry about acceptance, you have to get the self-awareness first. And here's how you do it.
Right.
Free tools that you put up to collect email addresses. In exchange for the free tool, give me your email address. Great. The first thing you sell is then a 30-day challenge. Once they've done the exercises, like to get into the challenge, you have to have done the exercises. You have to go through the self-awareness. You got to show up on day 1 with these forms filled out. And then every month you launch a 30-day challenge. That's paid. That's paid. That you pay to be a part of.
Okay.
And whatever goes into those 30 days, but it's committing to not drinking or not using the substance for 30 days. And we're going to do this together.
Okay.
In a group setting. It's Evan and you and everybody in the group. We're setting up for a 30-day challenge together to show that you can do it and to be part of a supportive community. And maybe day 1, review some of their goals or what do you want? And they're posting to the Facebook group and they're connecting to each other because if you want to build this into a business but keep the support, you have to connect them to each other. So it's not just you on a phone call.
Right.
That's what we need to get out of. So the connecting to each other becomes important. But they have to have done the free work before coming to the 30 days.
And there's so many branches where that can go because once you can get to that point of stable, and that was probably where I was when I first met you. I knew what I wanted. I knew where I was going. I was kind of getting on a good path, but there was a whole lot that I hadn't figured out yet. Okay. So that's like that mental stability piece. Well, then once you get that, well, now you have to start rebuilding your life, so then I had to go after relationships, friends, business, whatever. Then it goes into your health and how do you develop. But then I had to, not only did I have to rebuild myself, I had to rebuild my relationships. I had to rebuild my health. I had to rebuild my business. And a lot of the same, and that's why I think now's a good time with everything going on in the world because, yeah, I destroyed my own life, but a lot of other people's lives got destroyed, not just with addiction, but also with, COVID, business, quarantine, depression, anxiety. So while they might not be struggling with addiction, but the same things that I used to overcome those lows and to rebuild could still be applied in people's lives, the methodology of it.
Sure. I mean, I think if you made it a get sober challenge,
it's got to stay in that lane, but I'm saying it can go so much more broad than that.
It could, but dude, how many people struggle with getting sober?
Yeah,
giant market before you have to worry about anxiety in general. Yeah. The giant market just on its own, and that's the easiest one for you to start getting leverage in with your story and everything that you've gone through.
Right.
So I would do a 30-day challenge that's paid. You have to pay to get into a 30-day challenge after you've done the assessments.
The assessments alone are value. You don't have to join a challenge. But if you want my help to go through this for 30 days together with other people who are committed now, you don't have to go through this alone. You don't have to check yourself into some clinic or spend thousands of dollars to do that. We're going to do this together.
What's the challenge look like? What is that though?
You tell me. Like, I want people to feel like it's possible, and to, by the end of the 30 days, feel like I'm actually.
No. What I'm saying is, how do I facilitate that? Is that a video every day, a live? Like, what are you envisioning for 30? That's the stuff I'm trying to figure out, because I don't know how the online world works from that standpoint. That's why I spent all day yesterday looking at like Kajabi and stuff like that, trying to figure out.
I don't know that you need to do Kajabi yet. I wouldn't. I would just put it inside a Facebook group, just to be able to get it up and launching and running. But what I say is, you tell me, or we could workshop it right here. Is that what do people need? Do they need a morning session together? It's like, hey, every day at 8 a.m. we're going to do a half hour together, and that's led with Evan. With
that, in my opinion, that's best time setting intentions and setting your mind for the day.
Okay.
Because it's easier to set your intention instead of the end of the day looking back at regret of what you did wrong, hoping you don't make the mistake tomorrow. So it's more preventive than.
So like morning time, like 8 a.m. every day, you're going to go and you go live inside the group. Join us. Do you then need to, you want questions from the group? Do you want to celebrate the wins of the people? Like, hey, share your win, or share what you struggled with last night when you really wanted to drink but you didn't. Like, let's hear some stories. Or
it's not. So now I'm gonna go back then. Okay, now I got to figure out how to build the group. Not the actual in the group like that. I actually do have a group set up. I haven't done anything with it though, but I kind of have that.
Yeah.
On a separate page, Facebook page. Getting people to that group then.
Sure, getting people to the group, yes. And like, what happens to keep, your goal is to have as many people as possible complete the 30-day challenge and
Right.
be sober by the end of it, at least have kept the sobriety for those 30 days. What do they need to be able to make that happen? Like, some people will fall down, but do they need, so, morning intentions, great. Does everybody have to write out their intention in the morning?
Right.
They have to do a breakout session where they're connecting with somebody else in the group,
Right.
share their intention. Like, because you won't have the chance for everybody to share with the group, as if you think scale and where it grows, but
Right.
people in groups of 3, and then, okay, we write down a morning retention, and then we're going to share it with somebody else in the group.
Okay.
Here's my intention. Like, what do people actually need to stay sober because we're taking one day at a time, basically. If you're starting at day 1, day
Right.
0, let's just stay sober today before worrying about where we are in 5 years.
Part of me, as much as a sales guy, capitalist I am, part of me actually has a little bit of guilt charging around it. And I know I shouldn't, but I don't know. I mean, I'm not opposed to it, but I'm saying I have that little thing because part of me feels like I'm exploiting it,
You need to be able to build a business.
Right. No, I know.
And you're still, like, you can still do all the assessment tools are free. The self-awareness piece, the acceptance piece, the what do you want out of your life piece, and you can name them different things, but
Right.
Those assessment tools are free, and that's massive value already. And you can share your story inside that, and like, I copied these things. Share your answers.
Right.
How you would have filled it out back when you were struggling with it, so I can
Right.
see you struggled with the exact same things. That's tremendous value. I think you can get people to talk about their addictions and everything else on Instagram Lives. Just they know what they're signing up for. Like, they know that this is it. That
Right.
they're not contacting you privately and say, "Hey, can you coach me?" They struggle with it. A good number of people will be willing to come on and share their story.
Right.
So you do that for free. For the people who you feel guilty about, great. I have a free version of it if you're willing to share your story publicly so that other people can learn and
Right.
be as well.
Yeah. No, I know. It's
And listen, you can always have this, something that I often do too, is have 5 to 10% of the room be free. If there's somebody who you really feel connected to and you really feel is going to do the work and just really
let them do it.
$100 or whatever to be a part of it, okay, you get in for free.
Okay.
But you have to
Participate. You have to. Yeah.
max.
So what about from the standpoint, because I even went to when I was thinking about the Kajabi or otherwise, I'm like, well, do I make like that 10 pack, because I already have those topics written out of 10 or 12-minute videos of those steps, put them, you know, to YouTube, and then send those out. Like, that's just kind of where my mind's been like, okay, do I go that direction? Do I go group direction? Do I, you know, I mean, because I'm pretty familiar with a lot of the ways that I could do it. Now I'm trying to figure out, okay, bring the focus in. Okay, step one.
Yeah, you'll love, you need to go to the group session. Like, I think the course is a great strategic idea, but it's not, you're just too much of a giver, and you want to see people, like when we did our 3-on-1, and
yeah,
you spent most of the time helping the other two people in the group instead of saying what you need help with, which is great. Like, you'll get off on helping and serving and people coming and sharing their stories much more than just, oh, okay, the course is going, people are signing up. But also just considering what you're doing, the tactics alone are not enough.
okay.
Like, they need the support. You need to have somebody helping you through this, that you're not alone. And they're probably not getting it from their family. Like, they're getting judgment, criticism, and negativity from,
you know, that truly is the it's the biggest reason why people don't overcome it, is because the people around them are telling them the wrong things. You should want to do it for your kids. Do all of that stuff comes from a point of logic, and yes, it is true. Yeah. But an addict is coming from the point of irrational thoughts and emotions. So you're talking oil and water. So you actually have to bite your tongue, not tell them what they need to do, because that's just going to make us more combative. You know, so there's the whole thing right there too, that the people around them are not giving you the support because they don't know how to give the support.
So listen, that in what you said is the answer. Like, the number one reason why they stay there is because their family's telling them the wrong thing. So the number one reason out is to give them a new family telling them the right thing.
Okay.
So the family becomes this community that you create. By the tactics alone in the course. If it was a marketing course or something, maybe tactics super important. I don't need the group. But for something like this, you're gifting them a new family.
Okay.
At least for the first 30 days, to get them feeling like hope is possible.
So in the meantime, you think, okay, so I have a group page set up to literally just start going in and posting to it to build the content. Do it from a live standpoint, whether there's anyone on the other side or not, just to start getting that in there.
Well, I would come up with my tools, like the self-awareness. Maybe you already have them, or maybe it's just been verbalized and you haven't, like,
right. No, I mean, I have like autoresponders and stuff and email grab. Like, I have that stuff. I just haven't laid it out yet.
But do you have the self-awareness tool?
No, but I could put that together quickly.
Pull through it, but you make the tool. You make the PDF. Self-awareness.
Right. Yeah.
What do I want to do next with my life? Right.
Right.
Those 3 tools are free. Are part of your link tree, are part of your content that you talk about, to go get it behind an email capture, so you get their information.
Right. Okay.
And then you could hire me as a coach if you want, but I'm really busy and you know, the rates are going up, but I'm doing a 30-day challenge. And this is one of the most effective things for people to get out of their addiction. And you're with me every morning for 30 days. We meet at 8 a.m. Eastern time, and I'm going to share with you some inspiration in the morning. We're going to write down our intentions for the day. You're going to share that with your new family here together with other people exactly like you. And then whatever else needs that, maybe that's enough. Like, maybe those 20 minutes, that's enough for people to do every morning. Maybe they need more. Maybe you need to stretch with them all in the morning and, like, do jumping jacks together for 5 minutes, or like whatever actually helps, right?
No, that's you that make people do that.
but listen, moving is important. If you want to all or all meditate together, or all pray together, or you introduce bits and pieces. Because if you say, here's what worked for me, I meditated, I prayed, I used Brendan Burchard's journal, maybe you introduce one of those bits on every session for them to try to find something. Right. The intention is for writing your intention for the day is for everybody. Every inspirational message is for everybody. Connecting with each other and sharing your intention is for everybody. The one new thing, like meditation, you could introduce, and it may not be for everybody, but if you hit enough things, people will grab it and say, oh, that thing Evan introduced me to, I didn't like the 5 other things, but this thing is really working.
And that's basically what I was talking. It's been 3.5 years for me, and I can look back at, you know, all the books over there and all the things that I tried, and, you know, to streamline it, the videos, the content, and yeah, I think I could really shorten that curve. I was so desperate to find the answers, but there was nowhere for me to go. So now I kind of feel like, well, I could give a lot of answers to people. And while it might not be exactly what they need, but at least it'll shorten their curve or maybe help them get there quicker, you know? And that's kind of where I feel the opportunity is.
So then, you know, you complete the 30 days and then it's gonna be, well, I want more, like what's next? Do they come back for the next 30-day challenge and just keep going? Is it, you have then a graduate group that people could pay to continue being a part of because they've gone through?
That's where I thought the next steps of life would come in. We've
Sure.
handled the addiction. We've handled the dependency. We're good. We're confident. You know, we're secure in our sobriety. Okay, well, now we have to start repairing the pieces that we broke, and maybe that's business, maybe that's health, maybe that's relationship. Now there's whole other ways to go from there.
Yeah, and listen, you might be able to even take some of your best students and bring them back as helpers.
Right.
Do the 30-day challenge again for free, or maybe to get over the whole money thing could also be, hey, once you take it, you can take any future 30-day challenge for free again if you want to stay in the program. So you buy it, but then you can, as long as you need it, you can stay in here, right? Keep coming back, supporting the community. And then once you get enough of a volume inside that 30-day challenge, then you can splinter off to other things. Business, relationships, depression, like whatever resonates. And those could be full-on programs. Those could be one-day brainstorming sessions, mastermind classes. You know, there's lots of ways to take it. You just need the foundational program to start to push.
Right.
So here's my self-assessment tools. These will help you. Like the way a lot of people talk about addiction is wrong. You can't start with what, you know, AA says, or here's what you need to do. Self-awareness, acceptance, build your dream life, or again, whatever you call it.
Right.
Get these tools for free. Join me for a 30-day challenge, and we will work together to get you. If somebody falls off, like if somebody at day 15 drinks because their mom died that night or something, right? It's like, you know what? Come back to the next one for free.
Right.
Let's do this again. Let's start over.
Right.
It's going to happen, right? I mean, not everybody's going to get through it.
I just had a person die. Yeah, like out of nowhere. I talked to him on a live 2 weeks ago Monday. On Tuesday night, he died of a massive heart attack 9 months over. It was tragic. I wasn't expecting that. Like that one really got me. That's what I thought. Like, well, that's something for me to share. Like I always anticipated maybe somebody would fall off the wagon. Yeah. And I would have to deal with it. I talked to my own counselor about that. Like, you know, I realized I have to protect myself too. But boy, I didn't expect that one.
And was it even a thought to have a drink or were you strong?
No, me? No, I'm fine. Like me, I have zero temptation anymore. Like I feel so good physically for the work that I've done and where I'm at and the optimism and the goals and ambitions that I have. Yeah. I can't even imagine putting food in my body that would make me feel worse, that'll take away the way I feel.
Okay,
you know, so
possible, right? Like to the addict, where you say, I don't even crave it at all anymore.
No, I can't say that to them. Like, I understand that. I'm saying that to me, but like to them, that seems so, like I couldn't even fathom the thought of going an afternoon without it when I was at my worst. So I realized I can't. If I were to go out and tell somebody I don't even want it anymore, that would have me so far detached from them in their own mind that they wouldn't listen to a thing that I said.
No, not if you explain where you came from.
Well, yeah, they have to understand that.
Yeah, if I said that, they're like, this guy doesn't get it at all. But I haven't had any kind of addiction like that. Mm-hmm. But to show that it's possible, to show like where you came from, to show you lost somebody, they died, and you don't even think about alcohol at all. It's like, yes, but that took me
3.5 years.
Years to get there, and a lot of work. And I want to help you get there too. And together we can shortcut that path so it doesn't have to take 3.5 years. Because it really took me however many years of trying and failing and trying and failing. Because something like that would have derailed me massively if that happened 5 years ago.
I wish I could remember which was your actual Tony Robbins video that I found you on.
Okay.
Because that's what it was. Like, I was so desperate for anything. I was so hopeless and helpless, and I was just looking for anything to make me feel better. I knew of nobody in this space. I literally Googled Tony Robbins. He came up. Your thumbnail was there, grabbed my attention, I hit it, and I was looking for like the don't jump videos, right? And that's how I found you, and that started me on the whole personal development space. And then it was just his, then another video. And then it's just see a video by the book, by the planner, you know, and see who works, who doesn't, who resonates, who doesn't. But it was, you know, I mean, honestly, a lot of it started with one of your videos.
And now it's going to impact tons of people thanks to you.
So, yeah.
So listen, I know the way your mind works. So how you need to be thinking about it is your free content is out there, right? You've got your Instagram content, YouTube videos. I would love to see you coaching and offer it to people. Don't take the yes away from them to say, well, it's too private and nobody would do it. Some people will come and do it. Free content on social leads to the free assessment tools. So I want you talking about it. I want you making videos talking about how important it is to understand self-awareness. The first step is self. And if you're struggling, I've got a link to a tool. It's free. Check it out down below. Go get it. Check it in my link in my bio. Go get the free assessment tools. Okay. Not hardcore pitch sales mode, but whenever it makes sense, which it should for a lot of your content, it should make sense to talk about those tools.
Right.
Then you link those up. You get people from there. So free content to the free assessment tools, to the email address, to the 30-day paid program, to then repeating the program or splinter off into many different. But like the 30 program is your foundational, that's the thing.
Okay.
I'm going to help you go through this process, and that's how you structure it. Okay.
Well, that helps. That's what I was looking for because I couldn't figure it out. Like, I can't do the one-on-one because I have my business to run. You know, my real job, and then there's only so much time individually. You know, and then I find myself getting so vested with them on the personal side that then it starts to weigh on me too. So now I have, you know, now 8 people that I talk to, but now their problems are my problems. So I have to kind of keep myself a little bit insulated too for my own well-being.
Yeah.
So that I needed it to be personal, but I needed it to be a little less intimate, if you will.
Yeah, and you can still be a coach and still take on select clients who you really jive with and can pay you for. Like when people check into those clinics, those are expensive clinics. People are paying for, right? So they can pay you instead. But yeah, you don't want to be spending all day, every day, just on Zoom calls with people.
Right. If I calculated right, just the sobriety part was $44,000 for me. Forget about the damage, the lost money, the drinking, and all that. The actual insurance, of course, but it was about $44,000 is what it all came out to for me.
And there are people who are spending more than that. A lot of it is wasted.
Right.
Or if they see you can get them results faster for less.
Right. Good stuff.
Yeah. I love it, dude. I think you're onto something. I think
I do too. It's like the last couple of weeks, it's actually kind of clicked for me. Like, I'm like, okay, I'm seeing it. I'm getting it. But I think the previous 5 months, I've just felt lost. So I've kind of like held off because I'm like, posting to post, it's not doing anything. I don't want to waste it. I want to use it and leverage it. But it's like the last couple of weeks, I feel it turning. Like, I can definitely feel it turning. So
I think it's a much better path than the sales marketing angle. I mean,
I know that's what I've always done. So it was hard to get away from that because that's just what I've done for the last 25 years, sales. So sales is something where I could get my end result, I could reverse engineer it, and I could quantify and I could measure and, analytics. Over here, it's all emotion. I kind of know where I want to go, but I can't control the steps. I have to let them develop. And I've been trying to control it too much. I feel like I let go a little bit, and now it's actually starting to present itself to me, so it's kind of been that transition of my own mindset too. So
it's happening, dude. It's happening.
It is. I can feel it. So good stuff. I appreciate all your help as always, truly.
Thank you for your friendship. And thank you for your dedication and to serving in this 1 year Movement Makers. And dude, I'm super excited to see what happens in the next year.
Me too. I appreciate it. Thank you.
All right. Much love.
Right. I'll see you.
Talk to you soon.
Bye.